At the just concluded capacity building forum, technical staff of the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security joined their counterpart from the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), Sierra Leone Agricultural Research Institute (SLARI), Sierra Leone Meteorological Agency, together with subject matter specialists of the Agricultural Value Chain Development Project (AVDP), met in Kailaun to sharpen their knowledge on how to tackle climate change, adaptation, and mitigation issues. Climate change is identified as one of the alarming issues that largely affect agricultural production and productivity in Sierra Leone. Organized by the AVDP, the 5 days intensive training exercise was facilitated by consultants from Jala University as part of the efforts to equip the frontline agricultural officers who will in turn cascade the skills related to the adverse effects and possible remedies to climate change on tree crops, vegetables, and the country's staple food rice. In her closing remarks, Madam Monica Kwame Green, the project manager of the AVDP, expressed appreciation to the facilitators and participants for their cooperations, whilst encouraging them to cascade knowledge gain to beneficiaries.
To admonish everyone here to ensure that when we go back, we really give this training to our farmers, we really support them, we really help them, so that at the end of the day, all of us would have contributed for a global change, not only within our communities here in Sierra Leone.
According to the climate smart specialist of the AVDP, the training was organized to equip participants who are frontline staff with knowledge and skills required to adopt and mitigate the effects of climate change on tree crops, vegetables, and food crops, so as to get them prepared and put them in a better position to cascade the knowledge gain to farmers.
These are the key frontline implementing partners. They are the conduit of knowledge. They are the people facilitating the farmer field school that we are using as a platform of transferring knowledge. And that was the more reason why we brought them together, trained them. Because our culture as a movement is a cause to the carbon emissions. And we are able to develop a unified message that we take to the farmer, taking into consideration the indigenous knowledge of the farmer.
The Deputy Director in the Climate Change Secretariat at the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) emphasized the need for capacity building, especially for agricultural projects like the AVDP, so as to meet the safeguards in addressing the negative impact of their interventions on the environment.
The AVDP is a composite fund project. They have different donors that have supported this project, and one of it is the Adaptation Fund. So what we did was to give the no objections for the funding to be granted to the AVDP project, and it was granted. But in the development of the project itself, component 3, capture capacity. But we are not only looking at capacity, because when you look at national level, I have mentioned it earlier, the EPA Act. We look at the safeguards. What's a safeguard? In implementing any other project at national level, there is certain impacts. There could be negative impact and positive impact. So what we look at, the negative impact, how much effort you take to address those negative impacts. That's what we look at. So the first thing we look at in the rolling out of the AVDP project, we want to see that the safeguards are captured and it's taught to the smallholder farmers who are actually engaged in those farming practices. The second thing, we want to make sure that they capture the component that has to do with adaptation.
One of the participants, Khadija Tukuoma, who is the crops officer, Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, both districts, confirmed that the training was timely and crucial to their daily implementation of their activities in the field.
I think this is the fade-out strategy that AVDP is trying to implement. By capacitating us with this knowledge, we'll be able to cascade this knowledge. Even when AVDP is fading out, we'll be able to take over these farming groups, we'll be able to take over these communities and transform them in a better way, that the climate change will not affect them as much as we are thinking of.
Away from the indoor sessions, the trainees practically fostered their theoretical as well as indigenous experiences at selected cocoa farms, oil palm plantation, and inland valley swamps, IVS, where they learned innovative techniques on soil conservation, water management, and sustainable pest control, which are crucial to the resilience of tree crops IVS rice and vegetable crops in the face of changing climate patterns that may affect production and productivity.
So we are here this morning to see some of the practices we talked about in the classroom and how we can incorporate it in the field for us to be able to improve our productivity or production activity, and maybe identify gaps, for improvement.
A lead farmer in Tikonko community, where the climate smart model farm for tree crop is located, said they are excited to learn and share knowledge they have gained on climate smart adoption and mitigation practices.
Now say we can call them now for can land. Every day they can't take we for can train, we all they can together and for can't train the one way they don't train with the one way they not different. Let you buy learner, let you not go they do no more. I be they do first time, it take you a long time before they be here. If you cannot do farming, I can learn the one who don't do now. Within 3 years, if they get money, because one, if they plant mosange, then you plant pineapple inside the mosange, all by measurement, then you put it plant it. 1 year, that plant don't make it beer, it don't make it cotton. Then the pineapple bag now 1 year, it don't make it pay you. One make it 3 years, mosange don't make it beer. So the driver dog, you go able to take care of the pikin, then you able to make we live. Now you make even we kick call brother man, then we train it there. Then that idea inside project, they can't listen, can't learn to we.